Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Let's just put it that way, that good day to every one of us. I'm waiting on the first person to join. And this is going to be a little bit of a very sensitive topic. This is going to be a little bit of a sensitive topic. Good morning for somebody joining me. Good day altogether. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a controversial and sensitive topic, but either you like it or you don't like it. This is something that bothers our nation, that bothers our individual lives, that bothers families. It bothers everyone. And the earlier we change it, the earlier you change this, the earlier I change it, the better our individual lives become, the better our nation becomes. Recently, there was a topic about Reverend T.B. Joshua of blessed memory. May God rest his soul. Very amazing man, very, very good guy. The much we know in the public, or let me say the little we know about him in the public sphere. And then some people came up with different different testimony from what we who look from afar, from what we know about him. Some people came up with a testimony, video, interviews about people, that claim to have been victims of TB Joshua's other part. The funny thing that I always want people to take serious is that no matter how good you are, some people will always have negative opinion about you and your kindness. No matter how Christianly, no matter how spiritual you are, people will have negative opinion about you. Some people will have negative opinion about you. That is why even TB Joshua himself, while he was alive, he said that he used stuff like that as his advertisement. The ugly part that I want us to check is when people come around, and this is typical of Nigerians. When people come around and they make allegations and they accuse you, two things that we do. We are quick to judge and we are quick to defend. Even most times the indefensible, the very dirty things that a smart person should just keep quiet and observe before saying something. Many of us will jump out and start defending things that are very dirty ideas. We jump out and we start with, this is why the roughest, the dirtiest of all politicians will continue to be elected into offices in Nigeria. More than 10 women came up and said that Bill Cosby, that US star, molested them at different times. People came to his defense. He hired a lawyer. They spoke about it. The US judicial system found him guilty. And Bill Cosby is in jail right now. and a host of other people. R. Kelly is in jail for, for different things. But let us, like I said when I started this, please, you are just joining me. I am using the case of TB Joshua as an example of how Nigerians are quick to judge and are quick to defend. 20 years ago or 24 years ago, there was maybe by Tel or by one of those popular news agencies then, they published a news. It was at the forefront. It was at the front page of those pages, of those newspapers about TB Joshua, about things they said he was doing. He was a magician. He wasn't of God. He wasn't of Jesus. People are free to say things like that. But there wasn't anybody at that moment who really came out to say TB Joshua did this to me. There were interviews printed. But BBC swung into action. Number one question that somebody asks is that why should BBC be the one to swing into action to investigate TB Joshua? Forgetting that there is something called BBC Hausa, BBC Yoruba, BBC Igbo. So BBC has right to do that documentary. Number two, TB Joshua in his lifetime was one of the best missionaries. When TB Joshua was alive, he was one of the best missionaries who would be available to help people, who will pay school fees, who will help different people, different categories of people, different group of people. So it is very normal that when there is a negative news about him, it's very normal that some people will come out and say, oh, when I was dying, he rose me from the dead. When my wife was in labor, he paid for the delivery, he paid for the surgery. When I was in school and I couldn't pay my school fees, he paid for my school. When I was this, when I was this, when I had an accident, he bought me a new car. When my house got burnt, he built another one for me. It is very good. It is very automatic to have such testimonies about people like that. But that does not also rub off the fact that women came out to say they were fucked, they were molested by this man. They were tricked by this man. And you don't want people to talk about it. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit controversial. And there are many pastors who do the same now. They just want to camp you as slaves. Last year, I avoided talking about pastors, about churches. I avoided talking about those topics. This year, I am not talking about TB Joshua. TB Joshua is only unfortunate to be mentioned in this context. It could have been someone else's name. Like I mentioned Bill Cosby and I mentioned R. Kelly's name. When they mention that your friend is a thief, but because your friend paid your taxi fee or paid for your car, that does not stop him, does not excuse him from the fact that he's being a thief, or he was caught stealing, or there's an allegation about him. Now when you see people coming out to put their faces out in the court of law or in the public to say, I was at a point molested by this man, instead of you jumping like frog and say he was a good guy. We haven't said TB Joshua wasn't a good guy. Nobody has said he wasn't a good guy. What we have said is that what we are saying is that women were molested. Just like we had that young girls were having sexual relationship with R. Kelly. R. Kelly was one of the best or the biggest music songwriters. In fact, he sang some gospel songs. In fact, he did everything. I Believe I Can Fly, Trapped in the Closet. Beautiful songs. But that does not stop him from being accused and found guilty. Accused, tried, and found guilty. They will tell you that a politician diverted public fund. Nigerians will say, but the one that was elected before him did the same. Now, what did you do to him? In many pastors in the world today are magicians. I'm not saying every pastor, I'm saying many pastors today are magicians. Some of them want to capture your mind. Some of them already captured your mind. We cannot say because somebody has been kind to you, automatically exonerates him or excuses him from committing crime. You cannot say because Itunu Akorede is Itunu Akorede, Professor Akorede's son, it cannot be an Okada driver. Situation may warrant. You cannot say a thief cannot become a good guy. Even the Bible tells us that a bad man that stops to be bad and chooses to do right, if he dies, all the bad things he did will be forgiven, forgotten, and the good thing he did will be remembered. So as the good guy who has been good for the most part of his life, but does something stupid and dies, does something wrong and dies, does something bad and dies, he will be adjudged by those bad things he has done. But we Nigerians are so quick. If you go to the police station and say, I was raped by somebody, the police will ask you, where were you raped? You will say in the man's house. The police will now ask you, what were you doing in his man's house? That is not a smart question. Was she raped? Was the person a victim of rape? Was this person a victim? The question this is one of those problems we have. We are so quick to jumping into defending wrong because the person has been your friend, because the person has shown you kindness, because he has given you money, because he has given you a ride in the rain. These women that came out, the question is, were they actually molested? None of them, I'm not sure that any one of them used the word rape. None of them used the word rape. They were captured. They said, I am still going by the way of reporting. They said they were captured. But you came out, the likes of Antironke Oshodi, came out and said, I'm at a movie location now doing a recording. I want to share testimony of. So, you were opportune to have benefited from the kind part of him. Like I said, when I started this thing, I said it's going to be a little bit of a controversy. I am not attacking TB Joshua now. He is dead. He has done his own part, good or bad, and is resting now. He's been buried now. At least I know this man is dead, who died about 4 or 5 years ago. So we cannot do anything about that. But the fact is that you cannot tell me that because TB Joshua paid for your school fees, he couldn't have committed a crime. He could not have committed a crime. That's what you're saying. Oh, so we shouldn't believe that because he paid for you. So now you are covering up. You are trying to defend. If you were a victim of such, how would you feel seeing me defending that? If you went through that experience where you were locked up in a room and a man of God will tell you anytime he wants to cool himself, you are an instrument of, you are like a freezer AC. You are being used to cool off temperature, cool off temper. That's when they call you and they tell you where to go to, where they go to. And there were faces of women, grown-up women, Africans, non-Africans, who said this. But you people think it is a way of destroying an image of a dead man. The dead is conscious of nothing, established. They cannot even punish his wife for his offenses. They cannot even punish his children for his offenses. But we keep electing the most dangerous of us to offices because they have given us 500 naira. And when they ask you who is the best man for this job, you said the man that has given you 500 naira. You won't tell us he gave you 500. But you will say, oh, he's a good man. You are voting for somebody because he's a good man. That's where we are now. Like Professor Shibajo. Such things added up brought us to where we are. A senator slapped, a sitting senator, House of Rep member, slapped somebody in the public. People cried out, so people started defending him because he is a good guy. We cannot hold ourselves responsible. We cannot hold our elders responsible. We cannot hold our friends responsible. We cannot hold our junior ones. We cannot hold our junior ones responsible. We cannot hold our elected leaders, appointed leaders responsible. Edu better. Mistakenly transferred 44 billion. But the likes of former Deputy Governor of Lagos said we should give her a second chance. She's a good girl. She made a mistake. We have problem as a nation. We are a bunch of unserious elements who speak good English, wear good dresses, but many of us needs our brain checked. We speak very good English, but we are not serious. We write very big grammars, but we are not serious. When somebody, if my brother is accused of doing wrong, all I need to go to him is, hey, Alhaji, tell me the truth. Did you do this? If you can swear by God and by my father's grave that you did not do that, I will tell you, let us wait and see how it all goes. Because it is your story against their stories. TB Joshua was accused of doing this 24 years ago. Good guy. God did not create a perfect person. That is why Paul said he desired to be dead to everything of this world. Apostle Paul desired to be dead to everything in this world. Women, money, a lot of things. Different things. So thank God TB Joshua. We should even be proud that TB Joshua as a man of God was accused of sleeping with women. Amani, what is it? What do you want? You want to play with me? Okay, come and sit here. Don't be crawling. You're my daughter. Come and show your face. Come. With your cap. So don't be dodging. Say hi. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, now go. You understand? We have a way of making very grievous things. We have a way of making the victims becoming the accused. Like the example that I used. When when you are accused of raping a person, and you now think that, okay, anything raping and you lost it to that. And because she was raped because she was wearing provocative dress. She wore a provocative dress. That's why she was raped. Show money here. Now you leave the criminal. You start accusing the victim. You leave the criminal and you start accusing the victim. Should you have what? Should you have been dressed like that? Should you have been dressed like that? When I think your mother did not train you well. Your parents did not train you well. That's how you dress like this. Now you see they rape you. You left the rapist. And you are cursing the victim. That's our country. That's one of those problems that brought us with. People don't want to be accountable for anything. People don't want to be accountable for anything. No accountability, no responsibility whatsoever. And they find accomplices in the general public. They find accomplices in us because we are always ready to lose our head for those who don't know us because they gave us 1,000 naira. They pay school fees. Auntie Roge Oshodi, that should have kept quiet. Said, I want to, what she did for what TB Joshua, I'm on a movie scene recording and I want to. Who get time for all this kind of nonsense? In fact, that should be one of the allegations that be crimes under aiding and abetting. Like I said, I am not saying that TB Joshua did that. But when it gets to a stage where more than 10 people accused you of doing the same thing, let us investigate now. Instead of putting sainthood on just anybody, let's investigate. That TB Joshua, none of them accused this man of forcing them. None of them accused him of forcing them. But at least out of those 10, one of them must have been a victim. Yes? You know, when you're a powerful man, you have women around you. Some of them want protection. Some of them want, when I say protection, you know, finances, your personality. Some of them want to bring you down. Some of them want to bring you down when you're a powerful man. When you want to test the credibility of a man, put money. If it doesn't fall for money, put women. Women are the most powerful things created by God. Bah. We have seen big men, anointed, ordained ministers of God that came out to say, okay, strongest of them. I love Bishop Wale, okay, came out and said, I did that. He said, I did it. Will anybody now go ahead and start saying he did it? He already told us he did it. If that man dies, may God give him long life. The question is that why are they just coming out to say? If it was your sister, would you say, why is she now just coming out to say? That is a... If that was your sister, would you say, why is she now just coming out to say? When this lady accused Koza pastor, how many of you asked the question that why is she just coming out to say that? If nothing has transpired, no question will be asked. Your name wouldn't be mentioned. You can accuse me of fighting. You cannot accuse me of raping in my life or in my when I'm dead. The question is when is it late to tell you that I went through a situation, I was a victim? Tell me when it's late. Anytime. I can choose to tell my story anytime. I don't get that point. You have a point, but I don't get it. The question is, if it was you as a man, when is it late for you to tell your story that you were a victim of molestation? Akorede, my guy, answer me the question. As a man, when is it late for you? You are my friend over 20 years. When is it late for you to tell your story that you were a victim of an unpalatable experience? When? People go through situations 30 years ago, it affects their brain. They don't function properly. You may see that they may laugh, they may wear clothes, akaramba like everybody, but in a part of their brain is messed up because of what they went through. And we all say, oh, why are they just coming out? The man died, why are they just coming out? There's always a learning curve for everyone. There's always a point where people get the confidence to say, I went through this. And like I said, TB Joshua is not even, his name is only been unfortunate to have been mentioned in this situation. Like I said, I remain one of those people who respect TB Joshua. I remain one of the many people who respect him. In fact, I love him. If I ever have a ministry, become a pastor, I would like to live like him. At least the one I see in the public. You know, like I cannot judge him because I never saw him, I never met him. So I don't know more than what I see on the screen. But those who, do they have, the church said, no, we don't know these women. So I'm also saying that there's a possibility that they lied about him or against him. There's a possibility of lies. There's a possibility of those women being hired. We have people who hire people for miracles in churches in Nigeria. We have people who hire people for fake testimonies in churches in Nigeria. But even at that, an allegation has been made. A story has been published. Why can't we just be cool and say, okay, let the necessary authorities investigate the situation. Okay, let's take TB Joshua away. Let's use our leaders now. How many of the leaders that we voted for that you know that these people should not be in office? I remember back in the days when we were in school, some people will vote for candidates because he paid for their fufu when they met at Mama Delta. Yeah, some people do that. People do it. They will vote for people because they paid. He paid for their food at Mama Delta. She paid their food at Mama Delta. We recently had an election with my organization here in Dallas.
I know what you're talking about.
I love you. Thank you. You know, we recently had an election in my organization here in Dallas, and 2 people contested. One of those people that contested stood against me when I was appointed for 2 solid years. The other one, no, didn't say anything, but I know it wasn't against me. And when it was time to vote, when it was time to contest, to campaign, the one who stood against me came to me and said, I know I shouldn't tell you this because I know I cannot get your vote. I said, thank you that you know. I said, thank you that you know that you cannot get my vote. The other person that thought he would get my vote came and said, oh, how far? I said, that is not what I want to listen to. In my mind, I knew that the guy who stood against me has the personality that I need for somebody I will call the leader of my organization. Being friend or not. I voted for him because I want to see somebody that will stand. I will command the respect that my organization deserves. Not somebody that will just push his head around. I could have voted for him because it wasn't against me when I was in office. No. I don't do things like that. Does he have the quality? No. Does this one who stood against me, does he have the quality to be a good leader? Yes, he does. I gave my vote. He became the leader of the organization. That's how I think things should be. Not because I will vote for Akorede because he's my brother. Is Akorede a good candidate for that position? Does he have? Or because I just want to vote for him because he's my brother? Many of you have voted your neighbors who you know they were stealing cocks. You voted for them. Those who were stealing akoko, you voted for. Those who stole fish, you voted for them.
And stole rice.
Those who stole rice, you voted for them. Now they are stealing your money.
And stealing your
Now they are stealing the budgets. And you are accusing them. But you know they were thieves when they were your neighbors. Many of you voted for your classmates who were absolute cheats during the exam.
And then people who...
Now you are complaining. That they are not doing anything. She one more when but one classmate. Have you seen a brilliant person using microtinting to pass exam? We have failed the examination, we have passed exams. And we are standing. We walk with our heads up. We failed some, we passed some. We keep moving. Accuse me of anything today. You cannot accuse me of fighting because you won't catch me fighting. You cannot accuse me of raping. If any woman accuses me of raping, I say, okay, come, let's see. Let's talk about it. Where? When? What year? What day? I don't want that. You shouldn't. Because of it, if you are, even the person that has been accused of doing something wrong, you understand? Even the person that has more integrity than you defending that. Sometimes we will say, kò ní burúburú kó má kẹ́nìkan mọ́ ni. Ẹni tó máa kù mọ́ ẹ, tó bá jẹ́ ẹni of integrity, will stay with you, no matter what you have been accused of doing. Will stand with you. But will not settle the people investigated to shut up. No matter what, how dangerous your crime is, there will be somebody standing with you. But a person of integrity standing with you will stand with you to tell you, hey, Itunu, tell me the truth. Did you do this? And you say you didn't do it, believes you straight up. But will still keep standing with you. Like I said, my mind is not even agreeing with those people that they went through that process. They went through that experiences. My mind is not even in agreement with them. But what I don't like is now someone coming out to say, I went through this. Instead of you listening to the story, instead of you asking questions, you just assume that this is a lie. They want to destroy this person's name. They want to do this. My father was invited by EFCC and ICPC. My dad was a good guy. For those who know him, my father had one Mercedes, 1996 Mercedes, built 1 or 2 houses. Yet he sat on billions. My father was accused. They took him to EFCC. At the point my father wept. I'm saying it in the public now, as his son. My father was invited 2006, 2007 to EFCC almost every month. My father came out with a clearance. He came out with a clearance. He went, my dad, Professor Emmanuel Akorede, that I took my name after Emmanuel Akorede, went to EFCC. Battered, bitter, hungry, betrayed. Even the person who wrote petition against my dad did not. My dad told me I'm not having any problem with him. So if you want to tell me, maybe if it was you would have understood better. No. What I'm saying is that sometimes it is just good for us to allow justice to have its full cycle. Instead of interfering, I accuse those who judge, I accuse those who defend. But what I am saying is that many times, even for the... Okay, what if all those stories was just to destroy the church, synagogue church of all nations? It could be. Because there are different cases against the church now about even internal wrangling among the leadership of the church. It could be. It could be an independent party, it could be an independent rival who has nothing to do with the church, just want to smear the image of the leadership that is even dead. The founder that is dead, rather. TB Joshua. But I'll still destroy your name. Especially when we are encouraging our children to speak up. You understand? Children don't speak up. It now affects their personality. They lose confidence. At the time my daughter was walking low, when Amani gets angry, she will bow her head. I called her, I said, never in your life bow your head for anybody except me and God. I said, don't bend your head for anyone except me and God. Now we encourage our children to speak up when they see nonsense, when they see... But because they are scared of you, that the thing will be a succor to them, will provide protection to them. You know, saying it. Here is my brother. My brother is there, knows me.
Vibration.
I will go out and make trouble. I'll come back to the house. Daddy, my brother will punch my face, not even slap, Nika. Punching on the face. At the end of the day, my parents never threw me out. But when I was right, they know I was right. When I was wrong, they know I was wrong. You cannot keep defending what, like I said, I'll keep using it. You cannot keep defending your friend because it's your friend. Sometimes it's good to say, let us follow due process. Let's follow the law. Let's follow how this, the normal procedure. Let's follow it. Instead of saying somebody cannot be wrong because he's my friend, because he gave me a ride, because he's a church member, because we attend the same mosque, because we do this, because we do that. Allow me to even allow these victims to even tell their story, even if they are lying, even if they are going to exaggerate. Allow them to tell their stories. If it is not caught on video, there will be rooms for adjustment, either positively or negatively. But one thing is constant: truth. You cannot, even if a million. Let me tell you a story. There was one guy back in the days. For those of us who went to ADME, you know this guy. Very good guy, but rascally, very rascally. When he does something, some of his friends, they will come, they will defend. He didn't do this, didn't do it. Very brilliant guy too. So he did it. He did this. Then came out to say I didn't do it. Then I stepped out. I said, bro, you did it. I was there. You did it. I was there. I am I'm a witness. You did it. You did it, or this is not a question of you did it or you did not do it. Me, I was ready to put my life on defending what I saw. Because I know you did it. Then, when he now later confessed that he did it, those who were defending started going one after the other. Shame why they get them a bully like me. Then they start escaping. Not that they start escaping. One after the other. One after the other. One after the other. If people accuse, if somebody comes out to say, we have situations where there will be arrangement between a man and a woman. And things, after doing everything, things may not go down the way they want it. And the woman will come and say, oh, she did it, he raped me, he forced himself on me. We have more than 1 million cases of that everywhere in the world. But when it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let us ask questions.
11.
Let's ask questions.
13, 14, 15.
Whatever I have said today, the summary is that Eyekama, calm down. When they accuse your brother, calm down. If you rush into it, you won't have the full picture.
Daddy.
Sometimes it's good to hear the story on this side, hear the story on this side. Now use your brain.
Daddy.
Bring everything together.
Daddy.
It is good for us to be calming down sometimes. It's going to be a beautiful weekend and a beautiful next week. But as Nigerians, sometimes let's give ourselves the opportunity of thinking before we jump, defending wrongs. And like I said, I'm still going to close it. I have not accused TB Joshua of doing any wrong. In fact, I do not believe that he did those things. But I am also not going to say no to 10 women coming out to say they went through similar experiences. Thank you. Have a beautiful evening.